Hello and welcome to Daily Prelims Practice. Here we take up MCQs based on important articles from the Hindu and the Indian Express newspaper. Topics which we are going to cover today are displayed on your screen. Let's begin the discussion. Let's start our session with the first question, which is based on this article which appeared on page 1 in the Hindu newspaper. According to this article, recently, Supreme Court on Friday said that buck ultimately stops with the government to clamp down on hate speech and hate crimes as they are offences committed on society. Also, government agreed that hate could not hide behind the color of any religion. Now, as the topic of hate speech is related to freedom of speech and expression and theme of fundamental rights as well as features of Indian Constitution has been a recurring theme in UPSC Prelims examination. As in 2020, UPSC has asked the question that whether Constitution provides for following key terms or not. Now let's come to the practice question. Here you have to identify the correct statements. So the first statement is Constitution does not mention ground on which the state can impose reasonable restrictions on the exercise of the freedom of speech and expression. Now, as Constitution under Article 19 subclause 2 defines the ground on which the state can impose reasonable restrictions on the exercise of the freedom of speech and expression, and it says that state can impose these restrictions on the ground of sovereignty and integrity of India. Second is security of the state. Next is friendly relations with foreign states. Then next, public order. Then next, decency or morality. Then contempt of court and defamation and incitement to an offense. So these are the grounds on the basis of which state can impose restrictions. So with this, our first statement is incorrect. Now let's come to the second statement. India does not have a formal legal framework for dealing with hate speech. Now this statement is correct as India's legal regime does not have a statute concerning hate speech, nor does it have a definition for it. However, if a person has to be charged with such act, there are various provisions under the Indian Penal Code. For example, state often invokes Section 295A along with Section 153A and Section 505 of the IPC that punishes statements concluding to public mischief. So here our correct answer is option B, that is 2 only. Answer of this PYQ is option B. Now our next question is based on this article. According to this article, the rising number of human death due to human-elephant conflict in Odisha have reached an all-time high, leading to Odisha High Court scheduling an important hearing on the matter. Now, as you know that elephant corridor fragmentation is stated to be the prime reason behind elephants straying into human habitations. Now the purpose of picking this article is that as UPSC has been asking questions based on important species, so on the similar line we have taken practice question based on Asian elephants. So in this practice question, you have to identify correct statements. The first statement is Project Elephant is a center sector scheme launched in 1992. Now, Project Elephant was launched by Government of India in 1992, but as a centrally sponsored scheme, not a central sector scheme. So our first statement is incorrect. Its objectives are to protect elephants, their habitats and corridors. Second is to address issues of man-animal conflict. And the last one is for welfare of captive elephants. Now let's come to second statement. Financial and technical support to major elephant range states in the country is provided under Project Elephant. Now this statement is correct as Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change provides financial and technical support to major elephant range states in the country through Project Elephant. Another important fact which you should know that project is mainly implemented in 16 states. Now let's come to third statement. Asian elephant is listed as vulnerable in the IUCN Red List of threatened species. Now this statement is incorrect as it is listed as endangered in the IUCN Red List of threatened species. And you should also know that Indian elephant is the largest living land animal in Asia and it is declared the National Heritage Animal of the country. So with this, our correct answer is option C, that is 2 only. Answer of this PYQ is option C. Now our next question is based on this article, and context of this article is that Rajasthan will shortly come up with an action plan for the protection of 10 GEO-heritage sites in the state on the lines of conservation of archaeological monuments. Now why we have taken that article? Because UPSC has been asking questions based on important heritage sites. Like in 2016, they have framed question on Ajanta and Mahabalipuram. So here we have curated practice question based on GEO-HERITAGE sites. In this practice question, you have to identify correct statements. The first statement is the sites are significant for scientific and educational values. Now, before finding out whether this statement is correct or incorrect, you should know what are GEO-HERITAGE sites. GEO-HERITAGE refers to the geological features which are inherently or culturally significant, offering insight to Earth's evolution or history to Earth science, or that can be utilized for education. So with this, our first statement is correct. Now let's come to the second statement. GEO-HERITAGE sites are recognized by Archaeological Survey of India. Now, Geological Survey of India is the parent body that identifies GEO-HERITAGE sites or national geological monuments in the country. It was set up in 1851. Geological Survey of India is an attached office to the Ministry of Mines and it headquartered in Kolkata. So with this, our second statement is incorrect. Now let's come to third statement. Lonar Lake in Maharashtra is a notified national GEO-HERITAGE site. Now, some GEO-HERITAGE sites in the country are Lonar Lake in Maharashtra, Shivalik Fossil Park in Himachal Pradesh, etc. So with this, our third statement is correct. And you should also know that there are 34 geological heritage sites in India. So with this, our correct answer is option B. That is 1 in 3 only. Answer of this PYQ is option B. Now, our next question is based on this article. And this article talks about how climate change has affected the number of birds in the northern part of Alpuza in Kerala, revealed in the recent survey as a part of Asian Waterbird Census 2023. Now, as UPSC has been asking questions based on different aspects related to Indian biodiversity, like this question based on birds came in year 2020. So here we have curated practice question based on water birds. In this question, you have to identify which of the following water birds naturally found in India. The first option is snowy egret, second spot-billed pelican, third barn swallow, fourth purple heron. This image is of snowy egret. It is native to North, Central and Southern America and it is present all year round in South America ranging as far as Chile and Argentina. So with this, our first option is incorrect. Now let's come to the second option, that is spot-billed pelican. Now, it is a member of the pelican family. It breeds in southern Asia from southern Iran across India east to Indonesia. It is a bird of large inland and coastal waters, especially large lakes. So our second option is correct. Next is barn swallow. It is the most widespread species of swallow in the world. It found in Europe, Asia, Africa and the Americas. So our third option is correct. Last is purple heron. It is a wide-ranging species of wading bird in the heron family. It breeds in Africa, Central and Southern Europe and Southern and Eastern Asia. So our fourth option is correct. So with this, our correct answer is option C, that is 2, 3 and 4 only. Our next question is based on this article which appeared on page 9 in the Hindu newspaper. The context of this article is that recently Prime Minister Narendra Modi flagged off world longest river cruise, that is MV Ganga Vilas, from Varanasi to Dibrugarh. This will meander across various prominent destinations that lie along the Ganga and Hooghly. Now, in Indian geography, drainage system is one of the recurrent theme in UPSC Prelims examination. So here, we have curated practice question based on Himalayan drainage system. In this question, you have to identify the correct pairs using the code given below. Now, the first is Vishnuprayag. As you can see, river Alaknanda, which originates from Satopant Glacier, is joined by Dhauli Ganga near Joshimath. Alaknanda flows in front of the Badrinath Temple, one of the most revered Hindu shrines, and Dhauli Ganga originates from Niti Pass. This place is known as Vishnuprayag. So our second pair is incorrect, as Vishnuprayag is the place where Alaknanda meets river Dhauli Ganga. Next is Nandprayag. It is the second Prayag in the cascade sequence of the confluences where the river Nandakini joins the Alaknanda. So our first pair is incorrect. Next is Karnprayag. It is the location where Alaknanda river is joined by Pindar Ganga that originates from the Pindar glacier below the Nanda Devi mountain range. Next is Rudraprayag. It is the place where Alaknanda meets Mandakini. So our third option is correct. Next is Devprayag. It is the confluence of two holy rivers, Bhagirathi, the chief stream of the Ganga, and the Alaknanda. And beyond this confluence, the river is known as River Ganga. So with this, our correct answer is option C, that is 3 only. Answer of this PYQ is option A. Now, our last question is based on this article, which featured on page 15 in the Indian Express. According to this article, recently, National Company Law Tribunal, that is NCLT Mumbai bench, allowed the consortium of Murari Raj Jalan and Florian, the successful resolution plan applicant, to take over Jet Airways India. Now, as UPSC has been asking questions based on important statutory bodies, so we have taken practice question based on the same theme. In this question, you have to identify correct statements with reference to National Company Law Tribunal. The first statement is, it provides quasi-judicial solutions to the corporate affairs and functions under the Ministry of Finance. Now, National Company Law Tribunal is a quasi-judicial authority incorporated for dealing with corporate disputes that are of civil nature arising under the Companies Act. So, first half of our statement is correct. Now, let's come to the second half. The central government has constituted National Company Law Tribunal under Section 408 of the Companies Act 2013, and it functions under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, not under Ministry of Finance. So, first statement is incorrect. Now, let's come to the second statement. Parties under a corporate dispute can appeal to the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal against the order of NCLT. Now, National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, that is NCLT, was constituted under Section 410 of the Companies Act 2013 for hearing appeals against the orders of National Company Law Tribunals with effect from 1st June 2016. So, our second statement is correct. So, with this, our correct answer is option B, that is 2 only. Answer of this PYQ is option B. That's all for today. Stay tuned for more such updates.